Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We begin our second session, and my job is to. The CVs has been given in the handout. Probably all of you may not. We had just taken 30 copies, and the audience now is going to increase. So the CV of the chair is given. But I want to tell you there are two national treasures sitting on my right today. National treasures. One is the chair, Ambassador A.N.D. Haksar, and other is Mr. Vishnu Saxena. So I will, and they carry the entire knowledge in a consolidated form in various disciplines and in various streams and in various languages. And I'm so grateful to both of them, being very senior citizens, to have taken this time to attend this seminar. More so to Mr. Vishnu Saxena, who's presently unwell, but mind over matter, he's looking much better today. So, Ambassador A.N.D. Haksar is a well-known translator of Sanskrit classics, and he has translated nearly all the classics into exquisite English language. I will skip the other things, but want to just tell you, he is the one who motivated us to go beyond Kautilya's Arthashastra. And in the first seminar in 18th October 2012, after Dr. Kalyan Raman had delivered his first lecture, it was Ambassador Haksar who gave a talk on Kamandaka. And I must admit, I was not aware of Kamandaka Niti Shastra. So that is his contribution. His latest India International Center occasional paper number 79, India's Forgotten Heritage, Cultural Intermingling and Harmony in Sanskrit Literature, was released this year. It's available on the web. And his translation of Bhrat Hari's 300 verses is to be released on 1st November at IIC. So those of you who have time, kindly go and attend that release. Without wasting further time, I hand you over to the chair to carry the proceedings forward. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Colonel Gautam, for your very kind words for me. And thank you for inviting me to be once more here with you in this wonderful place. I've had the opportunity, like you have had, of listening to the inspiring inaugural talk by the former director of IDSA, Dr. Arvind Gupta, who has laid down a broad outline of this subject. This session is devoted to the roots in language, culture, and philosophy. We are, if I may say so, inclined to look for unity in diversity, and that has been a tendency. We have equally to take account of diversity in unity, because if you want to be realistic and follow things in real terms, you have to bear in mind that both unity and diversity are real things. We have a session here which is, as I said, devoted to look at common roots. The first talk is about the Brahmi script by a distinguished scholar who wrote a thesis on both the Brahmi and the Kharoshthi. In modern terms, Brahmi is written from left to right and Kharoshthi is written from right to left. This is something which everyone in this country knows, how scripts are written. So it shows that we have a diversity also, but essentially, basically, there is a unity in that too. the other talk by Dr. Rashid, and I must compliment him for having chosen this subject, which most of the time people try to keep away from, to look at the commonality of metaphysical thought in different systems. And he is looking at the Vedantist and the Islamic theological schools, the concepts of Wahdat, which in Arabic means oneness, and Advait, which in Sanskrit means not two-ness. They both boil down eventually to the same thing. But at the same time, while looking at these commonalities, and I must mention this here to Mr. Rashid as well as to all of you, he is referred in his talk, he will be referring to that wonderful work of Dara Shikoh, Majma al-Bahrain, which deserves to be better known today. I should mention that I am familiar with its Sanskrit rendition, done at the same time, perhaps under the supervision of Dara himself, which is called Samudra Sangam. Both Majma al-Bahrain and Samudra Sangam means meeting of the oceans. So you see, you have this wonderful thing, and then we have finally Mr. Nazir Ahmad Mir looking at two examples of statecraft in this land, Ashok and Akbar. There I would like to make just one comment which we have to bear in mind. Again, in terms of unity and diversity. For a variety of reasons, we tend to nowadays associate unity with some kind of political unity. If you go back into the history of this subcontinent, the Mauryas, maybe 200 years. The Guptas, maybe another 200 years. Come lower down, the Mughals, 300 years, 2 and 2, 4 and 3, 7. And then you come to the British, another 200 years. Less than 1,000 years in the more than 3,000-year-old history of this land has there been a situation of single political units over the whole place. The rest of the time has been, in political terms, a time of multiple entities, also very distinguished, also which have made tremendous contribution to human thinking and culture, but multiple political entities. So again, the point I'm trying to make is that diversity and unity are both a part of our thought, culture and history. And when we are thinking in terms of strategic culture, we have to bear in mind not only of strategies adopted and devised by political entities looking towards political entities outside the subcontinent, but we have to think also in terms of the strategies that these political entities followed in respect of each other. And in all the texts, starting from the Arthashastra down right to the last text which was written during the Maratha times, they are not talking of one single political entity in the subcontinent interacting with similar political entities outside the subcontinent. Much of the time they are talking about interaction between political entities all within the subcontinent. So I'm mentioning this to just give you an idea that this aspect also needs to be taken into account. With these few words, I'll call upon the first speaker this morning.